Hi everyone. So we're going to look at a question here on income tax. So generally it'll be a paper one question. All right. Normally maybe a short question. This was asked in a mock paper as a long question. Okay. So let's go through it. Bob works as a computer engineer. He pays income tax, USC, PRSI on his gross salary. Okay. Gross monthly salary is 4,250. Okay, so gross is the amount that he makes before tax. All right, and we'll just underline that figure. That figure will be useful as the question goes along. So 4,250 is his monthly, what he gets a month before tax. Okay, so part one, what we have to do is the standard rate is 20%, the higher rate is 40%. Okay. Bob's the tax credits of 3,300 per annum. Okay, just going to underline that word. We'll come back to it again in a second. Standard rate cut-off point of 32,800 per annum again. How much income tax does Bob pay per month? Correct to the nearest cent. Okay, so we have various figures there. The reason I underlined per annum means per year. Okay, but we were told his monthly salary. Okay, and the question asks us how much does he pay per month. Okay, so we need to get everything to months, or we need to get everything to years at the start in terms of our figures. All right, I'm going to go with years for the moment because I know the standard rate cut-off point per annum per year is, and his tax credits is per year as well. Okay, so standard rate 20%, that's the standard rate of tax that everyone will pay. It's usually around 21%. They'll tell you in the question. Higher rate then is after you go above this figure. Any money earned over this figure is taxed at the 40%. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to figure out how much does he earn per year, right? So he earns €4,250 per month. And there's 12 months in the year, so we multiply that out. So he earns 51,000 per year. Right. So straight away, because he earns 51,000, that is over the 32,800. I'm going to have to use both the standard rate and the higher rate. Okay, so the standard rate is 20%. So it's 32,800 multiplied by 20%. Okay, so multiplied by 20%. Maybe you might have done it in classes multiplying it by 0.2 or multiplying it by 20 over 100. Again, whichever way you're most comfortable with doing. Calculator work, and we'll get an answer of 6,560. Okay, so the standard rate of tax is 6,560. That is from earning 32,800 per year. Okay, he earns more than that, and that's going to be taxed at the 40%. Okay, how much more does he earn? Right, well, to figure this out, he earns 51,000 altogether, and remember 32,800 has already been taxed. It wouldn't be fair to tax that again, so we're subtracting and we're going to get 8,200. Okay, so that's the amount of money still to be taxed, and that's going to be taxed at 40%. Okay, so 18,200 multiplied by 40%, and that's going to give me 7,280. Okay, again, the 40%, 0.4, or we can use 40 over 100 either. Okay, so I have got how much his gross tax is at the standard rate and the higher rate. So total gross tax would be got by adding these two figures together. When I add them together, it's 13,840 per year. Okay, per annum. Right, so that's how much tax he is meant to pay. However, tax paid or tax due, tax payable. It's called a few different net tax. All right, a few different names on it. Is the gross tax minus our tax credits. Okay, so depending on this fella's circumstances, he's entitled to money back. In this case, it's 3,300. So the gross tax, this is what he was expected to pay 13,850 minus tax credits. So the tax he's going to actually pay per year is 10,540 euro. Okay, over the course of the year, he's going to pay 10,540 euro. All right, so at this point, I'd say I've got 8 out of 10 marks. The final thing I need to do is back to the question, how much income tax? So I've got my income tax, my net tax, but I haven't got it per month. So that's per year. So the income tax per month is this 10,540 euro divided by 12. And that will give me an answer of 878 euro and 33 cent per month. Okay, so his income tax per month is 878 euro 33 cent. All right, I'll just put a box around that. I'll probably need that at a later stage in my question. Okay, so to recap, I worked out how much he got per year by multiplying by 12 months in the year. I got the standard rate of tax, 20%, and that's what's given in the question, standard rate cutoff point. I worked out how much extra he gets paid, the remainder of his money, and that was taxed to 40%. Added those two figures together to get my total tax, gross tax, and finally then, to get my tax payable minus my tax credits. So took away the tax credits. So that was his figure per year, and then just divided by 12 per month. Okay, so in a lot of questions, I'm sure this would be your final answer and they wouldn't have asked you to put it back to month. However, here it did. Okay, so that'd be general 10-mark question. All right, so we're still on the same question. And now remember the question they told us at the start, he pays USC as well. And here are the figures they're giving us for the UFC. They will always give us these figures as well. So USC, Universal Social Charge. So it's another form of tax basically. Right, like I said, they always give us these figures in the question. So I'm just going to read the first 2 lines and I'll stop there. He pays USC at rates, so there's different rates of 0.5% on the first 1,100 per month. Okay, so I'm going to do that calculation. Basically, on the first 1,100 he earns in a month is going to be taxed or USC'd at 0.5%. And that's going to amount to €5.005. Okay, now 2.5%, right? So I'm going to have to multiply 2.5% on the earnings between this and this, between 1,100. Remember, that's already been taxed, and 1,560. So remember what I did in the last part. I'm going to have to do that again. I'm going to do it down here in the bottom here, just so it's not in my way. 1,564 minus 1,101, and that will give me an answer of 563 euro. So 563 euro is going to be multiplied by 2.5% into my calculator, and that's going to give me a value of 14 euro and 0.75. Right, so higher percentage obviously is going to give us a higher value of tax. Right, the next part then, and 5% on the balance. Okay, so the balance is the rest of his money. What money has not been taxed yet? Remember back, 4,250 is what he's getting paid. Altogether, 4,250 minus this 1,564 euro, because that's how much has already been taxed, or in this terms USC'd. Right, so that's how much. So again, take that figure away and we're going to get 2,686. So that is my balance. All right, that is the money that has not yet been charged. So 2,686 multiplied by 5%. Again, calculator. Okay, we put that into our calculator and it will give us 134 euro and 30 cents. All right. So there are my 3 different values at my 3 different percentage rates. Okay. Those percentage rates could change in your question, but they will give you those percentage rates in the question. Now, calculate the total amount. So total, I need to add up all these values. So those 3 values are going to be added together. And that's why I did this kind of other calculations just to one side, so I'm not confusing myself. When I add up those 3, again, use your calculator, €153 and 38 cents. Okay. And again, I'm going to put a box around that because that is my answer. That's how much USC is going to be paid per month. Universal Social Charge. All right. Again, that's another 10-mark question. All right. So a few different calculations, multiplying out each time and adding all our values up at the end. All right. Just to recap, just on here, 5%. Again, it could be put in as 0.05 as a decimal, or we could put it in as 5/100 as a fraction if we wanted to, and you would have got the same answer. All right, so whichever way you're most comfortable with using your calculator on. Okay, so that's our income tax, our USC. Remember at the very start of the first part of the question, they also told us PRSI. So now we're going to look at this bottom part, last part of this question, and this is the 5-mark part. Okay, so Bob also pays PRSI of €109 per month. How much can Bob expect his annual take-home pay to be? Right, so month there, annual there. Right, so PRSI is another charge that Bob has, and what they're telling us in the question is the amount he pays per month, €109, and we want to figure out his annual take-home pay. So how much money does he get after all the deductions have been made? Okay, well, first of all, I need to figure out all my deductions. Well, my deduction is €109. They've said it there. Plus, if we go back up here, the USC, €153 and 38 cents. That's another deduction taken away from him. And remember back here, €878 and 33 cents. That's another deduction. That was the income tax. When we add up all our deductions, his total for the month is this: €1,140 and 71 cents per month. So that's how much is going to be taken from him per month. All right, so a few different ways we can go about it now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work out his take home per month. Right, so how much does he get per month? I'll do that first of all, then I can work out per year. So he gets, remember the very start that we underlined at the very start, he gets €4,250 of that minus, because this amount has been taken away from him. So the amount he actually gets per month, when we calculate that, is €3,109 and 29 cents. So that's how much he gets paid per month. And finally then, we need to work out per year. So we multiply by 12, because there's 12 months in the year. And we calculate that to be €37,311 and 48 cents. Okay, so although he is paid 51,000 per year, how much he actually gets per year for himself would be €37,311 and 48 cents after all taxes and deductions have been made. Okay, so like I said, this was asked as part of a long question in a mock paper. Lot in it in terms of our percentages, in terms of adding and or subtracting. Okay, so what I'd encourage you to do is maybe try one day questions in our Leaving Cert paper 1 and kind of follow the steps. Okay, hope you got something from that. Thanks very much for listening.